call to order at 5:03 this evening. If we can stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next order of business is item C, which is public comment. We are in a hybrid meeting. We would offer public comment to those in person with us first, and then we will open it up for anybody online. So, any comment? Are you good? Okay, all right. So we have no one with us in person, so we'll open it up for online. Please raise your hand, and Devin will make sure you're unmuted.
Hi, Jay.
Hello, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I haven't been with you guys in a while. I just wanted to kind of step back a little bit in history as quickly as I can and then move forward. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to join you tonight at the very tail end of actually my own personal recuperation and battle with COVID. So I'm not going to be able to be with you at 6 o'clock to speak to this, if I understand the instructions correctly. Anyway, Jay Tulin, Chair of the Farmington Human Relations Commission. I just kind of wanted to step back in time, since I haven't been with you for a while, to talk briefly about the concepts of universal design and the role that the Human Relations Commission originally made, and the commitment and advocacy that we've shown throughout the process, and the commitment by the building committee and the town and TSKP Studios to consider universal design. Having said that, stepping forward to the meeting later tonight, although I'm not sure that I can specifically speak on behalf of the Human Relations Commission in support of the referendum, should that come to pass, I can safely speak on behalf of the Human Relations Commission that should a referendum come to pass, or even if it doesn't, when considerations move forward with, I guess, the 1928 building, that the commitment to universal design be recalled, and that every effort be made to include the very important and critical concepts of universal design as this project continues to move forward. That's basically all I wanted to say. I just kind of wanted to put this on record, since I'm not going to be able to join you. I'll be on the call, but I don't think I can get to speak. So I wanted to cover these 2 points right now. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak, as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
No other hands.
All right, thank you. All right, so we will move right on to item D, which is minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the attached October 19, 2022 minutes? Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We will move right on to item E, which is correspondence received 10/18/2022 to 11/7/2022. We did not have anything included, but of course I will also remind community members or anybody listening to this recording that we do have a contact form on our webpage. We welcome all comments, questions, thoughts there. So please stay in communication with us. It's a great opportunity to ask those questions if you can't be with us in person, and we will certainly return an answer to you as quickly as possible and as thoroughly as possible. So we'll move right on to item F, which is reports. First item up is chair report. I am going to defer comments. We're certainly going to have some conversation tonight, as well as some additional conversation at our community meeting coming up a little bit later. So I'm not going to provide any updates right now in the chair report. So we'll go right on to town council liaison report.
Just simply the building committee representatives and partners came to present to the town council for the recommendation to approve the 9.7 million for referendum, which the council approved. And so that's it, simple like that.
Any questions for John? All right, why don't we go to Board of Ed liaison report?
We have our next meeting is next week. Specific updates for. And then we'll have, right, we'll have an update on our agenda so that we're sharing. an update at that. There's been communication with the school committee after referendum.
Okay. Any questions for that? Okay, 1928 Building Committee Liaison. Chris.
No report. The next meeting will be the 15th at 4:30 at the town hall.
Any questions for Chris? Owners rep reports.
Sure. So just quickly, the professional team has met. We have our weekly touch base. We talked through mostly scope review items and what we've been preparing for. We have released critical trade packages and things are underway. So we've been preparing to invoice the state. Still waiting for the state to update the core website, which allows us to then put our billing in for reimbursement. So we've had some constant communication back and forth regarding that. And then preparing documents for the professional partners committee to review the third-party contract for materials testing. So we'll talk a little bit about that in professional partnerships. That's been the focus along with invoicing with the finance committee. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes as well.
Any questions for her? Right. Architects report.
Thank you. Just to build on what CSG was saying, we're preparing some of that paperwork to keep the project in good stead with the state. I'll retrieve the executed PCR set that was the drawings that were approved to allow us to go out to bid, at the same time drop off the considerable aggregation of papers related to the addenda that were issued during bid, which currently is displacing a lot of air next to my desk, but we'll trade those out with our plan reviewer. We've prepared the statement of special inspection for the RFP that will be presented tonight, and we are participating in the scope meetings, bid scope meetings that LNG will give you more detail about.
Any questions for Michael? All right, so why don't we go right on to construction manager report?
Hi, good evening. So we have been doing scope review meetings, pretty much Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday mornings. So tomorrow we have all day back to back, and as well as next Tuesday and Thursday morning. And by then we will have gone through all of our scope review meetings. We are making the recommendation tonight about certain bid packages that we would like to rebid. The plan is to go out to bid on Monday, it's called a rebid. So Monday, the 14th, and have the bids due on December 6th. So that's the current plan. And I think that's it. We received another letter from the low bid final cleaning contractor withdrawing their bid. We don't expect any more. I kind of knew this one was coming. I'm not expecting any more of the low bids to be an issue. But again, we're not done scoping yet either. So that usually falls out as this process continues. So we've still got a little bit more to go, but we're almost there through all the scoping process. So it would be nice by the December 8th to know where the rest of those bids came in. That's kind of what we're trying to hit.
Some LNG, as far as phase 2 construction, we're gearing up work and contractors starting to mobilize phase 2, the site work contractor. We applied for the building permit this week, expected to submit the drawings as well by the end of this week, orienting critical trade packages and beginning the submittal process with pre-detailed steel. And it's pretty much what's going on right now, and construction will start in a few weeks. First part of December is when gear up.
If you have a chance to visit the site, there's some pretty big, heavy equipment that's parked out there getting ready to go. So we'll be gearing up soon.
The trailer's up and running. We got power tomorrow. They're gonna hook up the internet service. So our team will be on site full time in about a week or so.
Good to know from our perspective, this time doesn't happen.
Laurel, can you just give an order of magnitude? We talk about the scope review meetings, but it is a pretty lengthy and involved process. And, we've typically got 10 to 12 individuals on a call. And you've got how many bid packages?
There's 30 something packages, minus the 4, they'll have to do some rebidding.
And so 30 something bid packages, they last a good hour and a half to 2 hours
Yeah.
a piece. So
Depending how
there's
fast
a good
it goes.
60 to 70 hours of meeting time that we've been having with these low bidders, sometimes the second low bidder, right? So it's even more than that in some cases to try to get a better handle on making sure we've got all of the scope included. So there's a lot of work on the professionals team. It's on the backs more of O&G and TSKT than us, but we're definitely there representing the owner and participating in the calls, but it is a lot of work, so.
Yeah, it's just trying to make sure that if we are convinced that the contractor fully understands what's required for the project, so it just, some people get it quicker than others.
Right, any questions for Laurel and Nelson at all?
And Kat, I forgot to reach out to Joe to let him know that we're rebidding.
Okay.
I'll try to call him tomorrow morning, because I know Friday's Veterans Day.
Yes, we're off.
Yes, you guys are off, so I just want to give him a heads up that as of Monday, we want to be out to bid, so everybody's got to go through that whole process of the PAS, so.
Okay.
In the paper, the whole thing.
I'll tell his office as well.
Okay, yeah, but I'll try to reach him tomorrow morning.
Okay, we'll move on to communication subcommittee report. I think we probably do need to, you're going to hear more information, obviously, about the results of this meeting as we continue to have a conversation tonight. But there was a subcommittee report, or excuse me, subcommittee meeting for communications last week that we really spent a lot of time talking about communications for the newsletter on the website, trying to make people understand our next steps in the project. And how best to kind of capsulize that information and have it make sense. So I think a lot of work's been done by the communications subcommittee. I give everybody a great thank you on the amount of work and effort that's gone into this. We've had a lot of care taken on being really transparent on the communication, trying to make it as easy to understand as possible, but provide all the relevant information. So you're going to see a lot of that in our presentation at 6 o'clock tonight. But again, the website is certainly something that reflects that. The newsletter, which, do we know the timing?
It should be, did everybody get it today? You guys did? Okay, so it should have hit mailbox.
Okay, so that, you'll see that will very much coincide with the messaging in our presentation this evening, as well as the website. Everything is coordinated. But the newsletter is a good place to refer people to for additional questions, the website, all those things. So we've got some resources out there for people to really start understanding next steps, what the potential referendum looks like, the reasons behind it, options we evaluated, very similar to the presentation we walked through as a committee. And that was presented to town council. So a lot of that same information. So that was a result of a lot of hard work from people getting together, doing their best to put some solid communication together. Anything else on there?
I'll just say the website, like Mike said, has been updated to reflect that newsletter. So the Q&A, everything that was on it is now off. it matches exactly what was in the newsletter. So that's a good reference point for a lot of the questions we've been receiving, and kind of that consistent answer that we've been giving. The project cost page was updated with the financial forecast, like we did last time, directing people to the website to have all the information. So that's on there, all the bond schedules. Obviously, the financial forecasts are a point in time. So there's a lot of assumptions that are built into that, which is all illustrated on the website. So a lot of updates just to gear up for the time we have to be able to talk about it, which ends
Very small amount of
next
time.
week. The goal is for town council, it's gonna be on their agenda that comes out tomorrow, to approve the resolution and warning for a town meeting and referendum. And like that happened last time, once they do that and send it to the town meeting and referendum, it triggers the blackout period. So the website will have our attorneys look at, it might be revamped a little bit, but a week to go.
But the goal here was that people should have in their hands the same level of information in their household. So if we do have to do some modifications to the website based on being in the blackout, we have supporting documentation and all of us to be able to provide and answer questions. Any other questions on communications right now?
Website stay up. I'm vaguely recalling how we.
Yes, yes, we keep it up, but the attorney combs through it and you
Make
can't
certain that.
have, you have many
Yeah,
adjectives.
gotcha.
So they will, they will take a lot of those out.
Okay, so the next up is professional partnership subcommittee. We actually did have a professional partnership subcommittee meeting, just, we keep having it on here, I say nothing, but we had one. So we did have a meeting just prior to this meeting, which the results of that are something we're gonna talk about a little bit later in our agenda, but we had a discussion on the draft RFQ/P for materials testing. And so that was fully reviewed by the subcommittee. Questions were asked, there were a few amendments made, and the timeline was decided as far as when that was being issued, when questions would go out, and make sure we get responses back on that. I don't know if we need to provide more detail on that right now. We can, once we get into discussion later on, but we're going to be asking for approval from this committee based on that recommendation from the professional partner subcommittee. All right, financial report.
Nope, there's no updates.
Excellent. All right, so why don't we move right on to new business? Yes, we've got it with you. So for this, for items G1 and G2, there was a second supplemental package of information, which is actually just a very small change in the invoice amount, I believe, right?
Yes.
For this.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the packet, Sam put together, but what we did with the finance committee was we presented everything that you see to be approved in the motion. But if you notice on so your second packet that identifies the agenda item G2 under O&G Industries, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. You'll see an amount there of $32,930.14. That was for the enabling phase. Because we were under some time constraints to get through and get it approved through this meeting, we have the draft of that invoice is what was approved by the finance committee prior to the signature. When they put it through the second time, there was a small change in the invoice of $61.46. So we're asking for this committee to approve the invoice amount to be $32,991.40 versus the $32,930.14. So again, the difference is $61.46. It was maybe Nelson, you can explain a little bit better on the retainage, but
There's a retainage line item that the subcon or contractor, Fairwood Construction, couldn't allocate the reduction in retainage to all their line items. So one line item has 7%, and the rest has 5%.
so it changed the invoice by a few bucks.
Okay, thank you. So we just wanted to make sure people understood why you had a second package of information there. But what we can do is go ahead with item G. There will be no changes to the agenda packet there. So could I get a motion to approve the following invoice package for Farmington Central offices?
Second.
So this is just that first packet of information there, and it's to note that both of these packages actually, with the exception of the small modification, were reviewed and approved by the financial subcommittee at their November 4th, 2022 meeting. So if you remember previously, we put in place yet another review of the financial information prior to it coming to the larger building committee, just to make sure we kind of got a process in place as things started to really heat up in from the invoice perspective and cost perspective. So, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, and we're going to move right on to item 2. So a motion to approve the following invoice package for item G2 for Farmington High School as amended. Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Everybody okay with the explanation of the change? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, so now we're going to move right on to item G3. So could I get a motion to review and approve the draft RFQ/P for materials testing? I'm going to open it up for discussion, but just to note, as was previously mentioned, the professional partnership subcommittee has reviewed the draft RFP for materials testing prior to this meeting, so we just did have a full evaluation of what you see in here. Some very minor amendments and some further information around some of the insurance information that we need to get, but overall, was the committee was in favor of the path that you see in front of you. So, any other thoughts, questions, comments on this? Anything that Mark that you think the committee needs to know, or?
No, I think, basically what we're doing is a third-party contractor that's required for part of the job to do material testing and special inspections throughout the course of the job. There are different scopes of work that are identified in a special inspections report from TSKP, where they will do soils testing. They'll test the strength of the concrete. They'll take these materials back to the lab and they'll do testing in the lab. They'll do visual inspections of how things are installed. Not every item is underneath the purview of these material testing inspectors, but there's most of the structural items that are required, the structural steel, concrete, the rebar that goes into the concrete, all of those things, how they're tied is all part of what we're asking this organization to provide unit pricing for each one of those types of inspections. They'll be on call, they'll be scheduled through O&G and the team on site as they need them for these types of inspections as things are being installed.
And the only thing I would add is this follows our typical process. The only difference is instead of doing a proposal, then interview, then, or qualifications, then interview, then proposal, it's gonna be qualifications and proposals all at once. Kind of like I think we did that for the third party engineer,
We did,
code
yeah.
review, structural threshold. So they'll give their qualifications and proposals all at once. We'll go into executive session and come out and hopefully make an award, and we're looking to do that at our December meeting.
On some of those, we did qualify
Before and then
before and then did a ask for fee proposals of the
narrow the.
narrowed it down. With this particular group, it's a small group of available vendors that are in the state. So we understand that we know all of them. We work with all of them on every job We are gonna ask for their qualifications in short order, but it'll be a combined packet, a little different, right? So this isn't a group that we would need to interview. I guess the only other qualifiers is that these vendors do have contracts with the state with predetermined unit pricing. We could go out to the state, much like we did with the purchase order for the enabling plan. But we feel like the project might be better served by making this more of a competitive bid. So we think we might do a little bit better than state numbers are hoped to in the competitive process.
Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're gonna go right on to item 4. So could I get a motion to reject all bids received for the following trade packages for the Farmington High School and Central Office projects, to authorize the construction manager to rebid these bid packages as stated in the agenda?
Second.
I'm gonna open this up for discussion. So Laurel, do you want to just kind of give us a little bit of a reminder on this one?
So this was the one where we received literally one bid per bid package. All of the bids that we received were over our estimate. So we thought that we should test the market again. I think again, when we bid this project, there's still a lot of competition with bidding on the street. There's other projects out there. It has calmed down. So we're trying to take advantage of a calmer bidding environment. I also spoke with CHRO this morning about the Miss Metals. We had that as a set aside minority business, and he's agreeing that we are just going to do it as a set aside small business. So that'll open it up to a little more competition as well. So, so that all of these are going to go out. Unless the mason, I'm not sure about the masonry, but all of them are going to go out as what they call set asides. Just small contractors can bid. It's a way to give smaller contractors an opportunity to bid a project. Because a lot of times when if we had the miscellaneous metals open to just any steel contractor could bid it, United Steel is your steel contractor, and they'll probably just gobble it up. And other bidders will know that, and they probably won't bid it. So by eliminating United Steel from being able to bid it, we know we're going to get competition. So anyhow, so it's just a bidding strategy, just trying to cut the cost down a little bit. And again, we're trying to hit the street on Monday. I've ordered wage rates. You have to have wage rates go out to rebid. I ordered them on Monday, still haven't gotten them. So I'll try ordering them again tomorrow. But I need those in order to go out to bid. That's the only thing we're waiting on. And then having the bids on the 6th, as I mentioned.
I think just to clarify further, where it says Reno, those 3 pertain only to the 900 wing, or to the existing building where the central office field house will be. So that project scope is much smaller than the entire license. So it's not plumbing for the or HVAC for the high school. It's just for the Reno. So they're
And
smaller.
yeah, and the Miss Metals is for all of it. So for the new building as well as the old building.
Any questions, thoughts on that? Makes sense. We had kind of talked about this last week, last time we met as well. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, well, that's some easy ones up here. Number G5. Can I get a motion to approve the 2023 FHS building committee meeting schedule? All right, let's open this up for discussion. And
I was gonna say.
the packet in the list in your hand of the upcoming schedule for next year.
So it's not there.
So we get to spend yet another year together. So a few changes here, right? Now you want to go through some differences?
Sure. So first, location change, Town Hall Pavilion, which is the new building in the back of Town Hall. We haven't been in there yet. It's very exciting. It's beautiful. So that's where we will be meeting. Is that thinking like it's the old community center? Nope, Town Hall right here. If you go around the building, there's we got a grant from the state to build a new meeting room. It's COVID friendly. We can open the it's nice, there's ventilation, we just got our new technology in there, there's big TVs, so we're very excited. And we're gonna be meeting there. And then,
Well, let's start in January.
that'll start in January. We also have been meeting every other week, which sometimes, depending on how many weeks are in the month, moves our meetings around a little bit. So we are trying to streamline it and meet on the first and the third Wednesday of the month. That also gives O&G time to get the invoices, have a financial meeting that's set in between those meetings, so then we would approve invoices at the second meeting of the month. So just a little bit more organized, to make sure we get the things done ahead of time that we need to get done. So it'll be the first and third Wednesday of the month, still at 5.
Still hybrid,
But in the pavilion.
but in the pavilion, so all that stays the
We're
same.
very excited.
So Kat, to access the pavilion, folks just park in the back. and
Yeah, you
walk
just
through.
Park in the back of town hall. And if you want a tour ahead of time, I'm happy to do that.
It'll be quick.
It's
gonna send out a Google calendar. Yep, Devin will send meeting invites put on your calendar. Hopefully it's not coming from me.
By me, I can't figure out that, so.
We'll figure it out.
All right, any thoughts, questions on this? This doesn't change any of our other subcommittee or working group timing or anything else at this point. I think we've got some of that straightened out for next year, not everything, so we'll work on that before the end of the year. So, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So, our final item, can I get a motion to cancel the November 23rd, 2022 building committee meeting? Let's I know, exactly, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Everyone.
Motion second.
Everybody's in favor, we're all in favor.
In fact, attach the whole 23.
All right, any opposition at all? All right, motion passes. All right, I do not believe we have any other business for this meeting. We will take a little bit of a break for us, and we actually have some traveling to do to get to our next destination for our community meeting. But again, before we go do that, just thank you to everybody. This has been a very busy time for us, and especially in the last couple of weeks. I appreciate everybody's patience, the questions, the understanding, just the ability to just kind of sit down and really talk and hash things through and make some pretty critical decisions. So I appreciate everybody's support in doing that, and I think that will come through tonight in this community meeting, and hopefully we can make sure that the community really understands what we're really trying to provide here, and making sure we're doing the best thing for this project. So thank you to you all. And that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will adjourn at 5:36.